Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video, and this is a very big, very important war on both accounts today, because AOH has to win this war to make Masters, and NewN has to win this war to make Podium. So, if NewN wins, we get third place overall, like out of all the alliances. So we really want to win there, but obviously AOH, our goal is to make Masters, so if we win this, we achieve exactly what we wanted to this season. We are starting out here on Path 8. This is the Rage node. Hood is really good for Rage, because the only time you would be hitting Rage with Hood anyways is when you crit, and there we get a special one into the block, which is annoying, but whatever, we'll remove the spells, and I think we're going to land an Intercept, yeah, into the L2. But the reason Hood's so good for Rage is that the only time that he's going to hit Rage is when he crits, and when he crits, he staggers anyways, so they can't get the Fury, unless they're immune to stagger, which Enchantress is not. It's a matchup I'm very familiar with, that I've done many times in Battlegrounds and on different nodes in the war map. There, I think my Heavy probably would have killed, but there she doesn't throw the special 3. To be fair, I had an Invuln boost on, so it wouldn't have actually done anything. It would have just wasted another 5 seconds off the fight if she threw that, but very safe. Shocker here on the next fight. We're going to use this one to milk a few bullets, because my fight after this is going to be Hazard Shift Dark Phoenix. We normally see her on node 9, but this war she was on node 27, so I'm going to be headed there to take her. So yeah, in this fight we're going to be going for some extra heavies. There, I don't know why I didn't just heavy, because you can obviously heavy counter Shocker's heavy, but here as long as you light whiff, you can dex out of the special 2 and heavy counter it. So taking this one a little bit slow, but it's fine. There we get another heavy off, and then an L2, and I think we're going to probably heavy again. No? Okay, here, nice, okay. So here we heavy, and yeah, you can see we're really drawing this fight out quite a lot to get some bullets back. Like there I was at max bullets, so there was no reason for me to heavy. Yeah, really easy fight. Shocker's not particularly a good defender. I see him get kills occasionally, but it's mostly just eating a special 2 or something like that. And I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of defenders where if you just eat a special 2, you're instantly dead. So he's not really special in that way. But I've never had an issue with him. I don't think I've ever died to Shocker that I can recall. But anyways, okay, on to section 2 here, and we have this Dark Phoenix. This is basically just node 9, but much easier, because there's not the special refund, and there's also not the Fury node whenever I have DOT on me. And this fight's gonna start fine. However, there's gonna be one point in this fight where I get like 6 hazard shift debuffs in a row, which is just absolutely insane that happened, but that's the only time I'm ever going to really take damage. We get no DOT off our first heavy, no, not off our second either. So right here, I'm going to go for a 5-hit combo. 6 hits, 5 hits in a row, and 6 DOT in like 8 hits. Is just absolutely absurd. That's so insanely unlucky. Because as long as I'm only having 1 or so DOT on me at a time, there's no reason I can't end this fight with like 90% health. But here the RNG did not want to let that happen. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, we bypassed immortality, so that's cool. That's pretty cool. Pretty easy there. On to this fight. So I turned on my recoil masteries here. We are switching to skill boost. We still have the PS1 on. And I've done this fight once. I did this last season, and I ended at 40% health. And it took 2 L2s to kill. However, the difference is that in this one, you're about to see it. No, right here. He dexes out of my heavy. So now, we are entering Frenzy with 4 less charges than we would have. And that is actually going to make a big difference in this fight, because when I go for my second L2 right here, after we bait out the special, only the first hit of it lands during Frenzy. And you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, technically, I could have gone for another heavy. but it wasn't really registering to me that I needed anymore. So here we're just desperately hitting, trying to kill him before I die, and we we walk out of that fight at 2%. Like, that was so annoying that he just randomly dexed my heavy. I know my heavy was slow. Also, one thing is I was supposed to put wags on that fight. So if I'd put my wags on that fight, I think the L2 still would have killed because he ended at less than 15% health. So if I just remembered to put my wags on for the extra attack increase, then we probably would have walked out of there with about 30% health. Maybe a little bit more than that. But that definitely got scary. Okay, so this fight I wasn't originally supposed to take. I was originally supposed to take node 39 Nova. And the guy that was taking this fight accidentally was assigned an attacker that was being placed on defense, and once he noticed, he let me know, and I was like, okay, if you want, we can trade fights, and you can take the Nova, and I'll take the Luma, because he no longer had a counter for the Luma. So I was like, cool. Or so he was like, cool, and that's what we did. That's the trade we did. Pretty straightforward. I've done Luma on a bunch of nodes with Hood. I've done it on node 18. I've done it on node 44. I think I've done it somewhere else too, but those are the only important ones. And here we're going to use our Relic, I think. No, we're going to use this SP2 and then Heavy. Right here. And 51%, yeah, dead. Okay. I knew that Heavy would kill. So that's cool. We have one more mini-boss here until we get to the final boss island. So I guess 2 mini-bosses left because I'm not taking the boss this war. So our other Moleman fight this war is going to be this Quicksilver on node 41. And this probably could not have physically gone any different than the Void fight went. Because just watch how disgustingly fast this is. Like, this is a rank 4 Quicksilver, over 500,000 health. We're going to go heavy. We're going to go one more heavy, and that's going to give us enough frenzy to end the fight. And then we're going to counterpunch, combo into SP2, and just look at this SP2. 56, 19, 19, 19, 76, and now he's dead. I just kill him with a combo. So one of them, one of the fights took 40 seconds, and I ended at 2% health, and that one took 19 seconds, and I ended over 90, so that's pretty crazy, just the difference between those two fights. Okay, next up here we have Fam on node 47. Pretty straightforward fight. Fam with Hood is a really good matchup. We're going to throw on our Mystic boost here, just because, like, why not? I mean, I'm sure I would have been fine without them, but yeah, we throw them on here. I didn't have a Gray boost, so I thought I might as well throw an Invuln, because if I get a bunch of glances on my SP2 and he gets to a special 3, at least I don't take the damage from it. I think that was probably my reasoning. But we're going to start out with 3 parry heavies, mostly because there's literally no downside to doing that. It's just free off the start of the fight, and now we are going to just wait out the unstoppable, get our invisibility, start spamming our mediums, hope he doesn't throw special 1 into my block, and then there we do get to the SP2 on time, which is pretty nice. But yeah, we're just going to cycle SP2s. This fight is never really going to get scary. I think there's one point in this fight where I almost get pushed, or sorry, I almost push him to a special 3. But that's it. Like, we're still cycling, we're looking good. Go, SP2, yeah, he got to a special 3 there, but he got power drain back under. Here we have to go for a Relic, because I wasn't sure if I'd get to that L2. So we're going to heavy, and then we're going to intercept with the L2. Yeah, technically he could have blocked that, but generally speaking, after AI is aggressive, if you throw a special, they'll walk right into it, even if they're at a special 3, like 95% of the time. So that was it for my war with AOH. It was actually a pretty quick war, only 7 fights. And then we have another 7 fights here on the NewN account. And yeah, this is going to be a very close war. I'll tell you now, there was no point in this war where our deaths were separated by more than 1. So the whole time this war, it was either tied or one alliance was up by 1. And it ended with a difference of 1 death. So we have this Dark Phoenix. We're waiting out this bleed, and then we're going to go for medium into medium, medium light, medium combos, which is guaranteed to get you to a special 2. And then we basically just want Dark Phoenix to throw no specials. Keep cycling the L2. Going good so far. We're getting some decent power steals. As long as I get 2 out of 5 power steals on my special 2, then we have enough to keep cycling. Here we're going to bait out the SP2. Technically, I could have just comboed in and gone for the SP2, but had Immortality not been failed by my Fate Seal, then she would have had an unblockable special 2, so I figured it was safer to bait it out earlier. And because we got back to our SP2 after punishing hers, we got the Fate Seal back, so we failed Immortality, so that's pretty cool. Okay, Node 18 Arcade, this was definitely the fight I was the most worried about, but it's actually going to go really well. I'm going to get clipped once in this fight. However, I've taken this fight 3 times now. This one was by far the best I felt. So I had an idea of how to start out this fight a little bit differently, and Arcade wasn't being super aggressive, but I decided to start out the fight with a special 1. And when I saw how much damage this was doing, I was like, okay, yeah, that was the right call. Because in this fight, you're going to get pushed to your special 2, unless you're very, very careful. Here we get some horrible hazard shift RNG, and he triggers it on 2 of the 3 heavy hits. But now we're free to throw another special 1, and I didn't mean to dash out there, and here we eat the special 1, so I lose the opportunity to throw my special 1, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, he auto-blocks the end of it, which puts another shock on me. So that was just stupid by me. Had I not dexed out there, I would have had time for the whole heavy to land. I think if I were to take this fight again, I think I would just be like really, really passive. And then there we get a special 1 into my hard block, which is just perfect. And then, yeah, we get comboed again. I don't remember getting hit there, but I guess I did. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Here we go for special 2. Didn't get auto blocks. We got a little bit lucky there. But that's okay, because I know we can do heavy here into special 1. And because I have the 2 Furies, because I threw it during infection, this is going to kill. So maybe not as clean as the first time I took it, but way, way faster. So I'm confident about that. And I think if I were to take it again, I could clean it up a bit. So I'm pretty happy with how that fight went. Nowhere near dying. Like, nowhere near. So section 2 here, we're going over to path 3, and we're going to be taking this Okoye. This is a fight I've done many times with Hood. We're going to throw on that advanced power boost. I thought I was out for a second, but then I realized I just hadn't bought the ones from the store yet, and we are going to end up using that other one next, like later in the war, because it's War 9. There's literally no reason to save any of the boosts. So we're going to start out this Okoye with 2 heavy attacks, because until she throws her special 1, she does not have her endurance, so you can safely parry her. But yeah, you just want to cycle L2s, not let Okoye throw a single special here, and you can essentially ignore the encroaching stun because Hood is duped, which means he's stun immune while he's invisible. So we are just going to keep doing this. We got some pretty good power steal RNG here, and I'm pretty sure we're pretty close to killing. I think we're going to go for this special and then Relic. Yeah, okay, and the fight's over. So really nice, really easy fight. Basically, Hood versus that fight is a skill check. Can you land 2 parries to start off the fight? If the answer is yes, you win and it's impossible to die. If the answer is no, you die. And so far, I've taken it about 10 times, and I've passed the skill check, so that's good. Okay, now we are facing Joe Fixit on Safeguard. I actually see the logic behind this, because a lot of the tactic champions that are skills that are going to be taking this are either going to have some form of cleanse, which obviously on a node like this, you take damage when you cleanse, or they're just not going to have the best time dealing with Joe and getting around safeguard. So placing a tactic champion here is actually pretty smart. And I decided that I was going to push Joe to special 2 and then just like let him throw a special 2 because there's not a lot of danger. Unfortunately, I'm gonna trust in this fight that oh my god, can't speak. That the Disorient's not gonna activate, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna eat a combo. So here, I thought this would get to special 2, but because my disintegration was lower in combat power rate, it didn't. But now we're gonna bait special 2, and then I'm pretty sure it's like right after this, right after he throws this special 2, where I'm gonna trust a parry, and I should not have. I think it's right here. Yeah, so I hit a parry, and I was gonna go for a heavy, but we eat his heavy instead. So I guess I didn't eat a combo. I only ate 1 hit, but yeah, all good. I'm trying to throw the special 1 here, and there we finally get to. And now I don't know if I'm gonna bait this. Okay, I do bait that, but because we have tactic, we can ignore the unstoppable, and then I think I'm gonna heavy into special 1. No, we're just gonna combo into special 1. Okay. So yeah, really safe fight. I think the only way I could have possibly died to that is if I actually like ate his special 2, which was not going to happen because it's Joe Fixit. So that was a nice fight. On to my minis now. I'm pretty sure my minis are all clean fights, if I recall correctly. We are going to speed through this first one just because I've shown 38 Thanos so many times with Hood. It's like the easiest, safest fight in the world. It's essentially impossible to die. I think one time I ate a heavy here and both hits crit, and I still ended the fight at 90%. Like, it's that gross of a matchup. So yeah, we're going to speed it up. It's going to be slow, but I don't need a ton of bullets for my final fight with Hood. I only have 1 Hood fight left and 1 Bastion fight after this. So I think we're going to be pretty liberal with our bullets. Obviously, the protection is going to slow down the fight quite significantly. And one thing I did forget is I'm so used to just throwing the special 2 into Thanos and letting him go unstoppable that I didn't process that it doesn't count as a knockdown. So it didn't remove the protection there, which did delay the fight quite a bit. But luckily we had tons and tons of hexes built up, so we were able to completely bypass his second phase. And then here, heavy, get to the next protection, and now we only need to get to 1 more. And I'm pretty sure we just like spam medium attacks, get a knockdown off my L2, and then the fight is going to be done. Yeah, so here we get the L2. Protection's down, 18 hexes for 18%. I'm going to do way more than that, yeah. Like way, way more than 18% of his health. Probably easily 30% or more. Probably more. Okay. Last fight here with Hood, we have Knull on 47. 47 is a node where as soon as Hood gets to the special 2 for the first time, every single node is turned off. Like, there is literally no nodes. It turns it into a duel. And I just happened to have an extra special 1 boost, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get all mine back in the offseason. There's no reason not to use it here. And Hood versus Knull is a great matchup if you know what you're doing, which I do. So we're going to start out with a couple heavies. Obviously, we are going to have the inequity lowering our attack rating, so we have to keep that into account. However, the nice thing is that it is going to be a consistent attack lowering throughout the whole fight. It's not something that's going to happen more when we're going for our heavy, which means that the ratio of damage that I'm dealing to the amount of hexes didn't change, unlike in a matchup with Sentinel, where he resists your hits but not your hex damage, so your hex damage does proportionally a lot higher of his health. So with Knull, I did my exact normal thing. Like sure, the fight took about 10-15 seconds longer because of inequity, but I knew the exact percentage when I could detonate. And that's one nice thing that you can remember with Hood, is that well, like in that matchup is all I meant. In the matchup of Hood versus Knull, that's something that you don't have to constantly keep track of, like you would have to in a matchup such as Sentinel. Okay, last matchup of the war. This is going to be Node 49 Cassandra Nova. We're going to be taking this with Bastion. This is a special one spam fight because it's really, really difficult against Cassandra Nova to get full basics or like full combos on. You mostly want to just be comboing into your specials, hitting her with heavies, countering her special. Her special one is insanely easy to full dex. I genuinely don't think I've been hit by it a single time in the game ever. Like, not a single hit. I don't think I've ever eaten of Cassandra's special one. Now that I say that, the next time I fight Cassandra Nova, I'm definitely going to get hit by it. But there we land a really nice corner stand-up intercept, baiting out the special one. We are going to take a little bit of brute force damage in this fight, but it's nothing insane. And then here I noticed my disintegration is about to fall off, so I use my relic to go heavy into my special one, and that is going to leave us essentially right at a special one, and then I'm pretty sure this is going to end it. Nope, leaves her at 4%. Is this heavy going to end it? Nice. Okay, 2 crits on the heavy. So 116, really safe fight. Let's get to the results of the war now as soon as it loads. As you can see right here, AOH had a fantastic war with only 4 deaths, and we did lock in a master spot because of that win. And then over to the NewN war, we did manage to defeat LVT, which means that we get 3rd place overall, and I'm going to show the rankings in just a second. They are about to pop up. So GT40 did win. They actually faced Salty in their final war, and whoever won that war got war champ. GT40 won that war with a score of 4-1, as you can see in the rightmost column. And then we matched LVT. We beat them with a score of 3-2. So we did get the 3rd spot. So GG's to LVT. It was a very, very well fought war, very close war, and we definitely look forward to facing them again next season. And then also shout out to everyone else that made Masters. You can see AOH down there in the 18th spot, but hey, you know what? That's just as good as 11th. We get the exact same rewards, and I don't know why the death said 6. I think that's a typo. We only had 4 deaths, but I mean, it wouldn't make a difference. We wouldn't have enough attack bonus to pass the next highest alliance anyways, so it doesn't make a difference. But one thing that's actually pretty cool about this leaderboard is that spots 1 through 4 is, if you adjust it by 1, the exact number of times that each alliance lost. So GT40 in first place lost 0, Salty lost 1, NewN lost 2, LVT lost 3. So it was actually pretty funny that it kind of lined up like that, where in the top 4, and everyone knows these are the top 4 alliances, like no one else was ever going to land in podium, we all ended with a different number of losses, which is pretty interesting. That's a pretty rare thing that generally doesn't happen. Usually the final placements will come down to attack bonus, but that was not the case this war, or this season. So again, GG's to LVT, very good war, and good season overall. And now to my stats, my final stats for the season. So AOH ended with a record of 5-4, and as you can see, we did end in Masters. NewN finished with a record of 7-2, ending 3rd place overall. And then I had a total of 3 deaths. I had 1 death on my main, which was in, I think, War 3. I died taking 42 Spider-Woman with Moleman, because Spider-Woman is a broken champion that shouldn't exist, and is getting nerfed. And then my 2 deaths on my ult, I died in War 3 as well. On my ult, I died to the bug in the Gallon fight, which has been reported to Kabam, and hopefully they will be fixing it, because it's kind of garbage the way that I died. Like, I definitely wouldn't have died without that stupid bug. And then in War 7, I think it was, I had that really bad death where I died to Onslaught with Hood, which was a good matchup that I just messed up so horribly, and I'm really, really embarrassed about that one, honestly. But yeah, anyways, my PSR I took a total of 134 fights, dying only 3 times, which is a solo rate of 98%. My main account had 69 fights with 1 death, so that's 99% solos. And then my alt took 65 fights with 2 deaths, so that's 97% solos. And then going into next season, we have a deathless streak of 39 fights with an active streak of 48 on my main and 17 on my alt. However, I just wanted to say one thing going into next season. Because it is going to be a big thing season, which is not real war, it's actually closer to raids than it is to war. It's like ranked raids, basically. Obviously, we are not using the deathless streak system. That does not make any sense for something wildly different than real war. So we are going to freeze the deathless streak where it is right now, and then resume it the season after next, which I think is in January. So that's what we're going to do. Maybe it starts at the beginning of February, but either way, somewhere in there. So I think that's going to be it for me. You guys are going to see a rewards opening, and I might also do some rank ups in that video. So stay tuned for that. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone.